And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
This is a new thing we're going to do here on the Schnitzel Boys. If we have people say things that are kind of hard to translate or don't immediately translate easily, we're going to help you listeners with that, with our new section called SPRACHGEFUHL.
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 SPRACHGEFUHL. I love that drop. Is that you? Is that you over and over again?
That is me.
I love it. SPRACHGEFUHL. That's such a great drop. I love it. So right now we're at SPRACHGEFUHL. What do you have on the menu? What do you have on the menu for today, Bjorn?
So we have Max Kruse here after the game. I will hold on. SPRACHGEFUHL, by the way, means the instinctive intuition.
Well, real quick, literally translate, it means speak feeling.
Speak feeling or language feeling.
Language feeling.
Right.
But then properly translated, it means what, the spirit of what someone's trying to communicate, pretty much?
Just sort of an intuitive understanding of a language without knowing it. Like some people, SPRACHGEFUHL means that if you have a certain knowledge of a language, you can sometimes figure out what is said without actually knowing the words, because you have some kind of intuition. And that's what SPRACHGEFUHL is.
SPRACHGEFUHL sounds good.
So here is Max Kruse after Union Berlin. He scored the one goal, scored a nice goal, and that was the winner. And here he is after the game.
Wo schauen Sie gerade hin? Sie gucken so gebannt ins Publikum.
Reporters asking, you're looking into the stands, fascinated. What are you looking at?
Sich hier schon selbst auf der
And he says, oh, they're hitting each other, they're fighting each other here in the stands, the Bochum fans.
Also ich muss sagen, ich habe selten solche Fans.
I gotta say, rarely have I seen fans like, I'm sorry to say,
asozialen Fans erlebt.
Asoziale fans. He has never experienced fans quite so
asozial.
Asozial.
Wie hier. Aber
But,
gut,
it's not our problem.
Ja, gut, das hat
why do you say that?
angefangen.
And he says, well,
Schon,
this didn't just start now. Even when we warm up, people insult you. I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me.
Wenn du auf der Bank sitzt
When you
Bier
sit on the
geworfen.
bench, they throw beer.
Ja, es ist halt,
it's
leider so, aber
it's too bad,
ja.
but
Sind wieder auf der Tribüne
they're
ganz
big.
groß und danach
In the
wieder
stands, they're
ganz
big,
klein.
and then afterwards, they're small again.
Oh, hello.
Very asozial. This is our
Asocial.
asocial sort of.
But that's not what that means.
That's not what that means. Asozial is a pretty strong insult. Asozial is sort of a catch-all term at any point, really, in German history for people who are really outside of society. Like in the Nazis, they sort of classified asozial as gypsies.
Right.
Prostitutes,
LGBTQ.
And those were people that could be sent to the gas chamber. And since then, it's still sort of, when I was a kid, asozial meant, people who are on welfare, like sort of having a lot of kids but not holding down jobs, like really sort of derogatory.
Right.
It's not a word.
And Germany in general, despite it being like, more liberal now than it's ever been, Germany in general still has a lot of, as a culture, there's a lot of cultural shame involved in, like if you're fat, that's called citizens. No, it's called, what's that called? It's called like citizens disease or something like that. It's called like a disease. Essentially, that's considered a disease because you're taking too much. And here in the United States, you do whatever you want. It's a free country. Right. So if someone eats himself to death, that's their rights to do so. And you can judge him if you want, but it's not a cultural judgment. It's just like people can talk about it. Where in Germany, that's like almost illegal. It's like Zivilisationskrankheit. How do I say that? Civilizations disease. If you eat too much, or if you're taking too much, if you burn too much fuel, all that kind of crap. There's like a cultural shame towards it because you're not supposed to take You're not supposed to do too much. The only reason I bring that up is because that's why, and culturally, they would have something like that. They would all be like, "Oh, look at someone who's not working and living off welfare and boop boop pa pa pa."
Yeah,
you're
supposed to have a job, retire when you're 65, pay your taxes, all these things. If you're not doing that, you're asozial.
Yeah.
If you're not part of this sort of kind of narrow image of what society is supposed to be. So, but it's surprising to hear that word because it's just not a politically correct term. So Max Kruse,
he might get fined, right?
Calling the Bochum fans asozial is not nice. Although, also one has to say, people shouldn't throw stuff. That's bad.
No, that's been an issue for all over the place now.
Yeah.
France has been stopping a lot of their games lately due to fan violence, and it's very weird. Here in the States, we're seeing too much of that. Those 2 dudes in Portland were arrested for throwing a beer can. And I don't know why. Maybe people are just more unruly, maybe because of COVID or something. But, I don't know. People need to keep to themselves a little more. There's also an issue. This is maybe a separate issue. But, like, people will attack fans on social media pretty aggressively. And social media is a direct passageway to someone. And it's like, man, that's not cool. You know, like, don't, like, the amount of access we have to players is second to none these days compared to the way it used to be. And people are not using it right. They're just trying to bully them, criticize them.
Yeah.
There was a big article on German news media today about all the racism going on in Belgium soccer today. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I guarantee you it's just abuse related from live fans or social media abuse, all that kind of crap. So, no fighting in the stands. Come on, guys.
Fighting in the stands.
This is a message for Bochum and a message for the Galaxy fans. But also don't use words like...
Shame on you, Max Kruse, calling the Bochum fans asozial. And also saying, at the end, he says, "Oh, these people, they feel big when they're in the stands, and then they're small again once they leave."
That's a very cocky thing to say.
Show some contempt. Show some contempt for the paying customers here.
Very very snooty.
Yeah.
And he's going to pay for that in 6 months' time when Bochum... Was this in Berlin or in Bochum?
No, this is in Bochum, yeah. So
when they come to Berlin and in a few months' time, we'll see what happens.
He thought they were insulting him now. This is not going to improve.
Just you wait.
I have
so
one
that
more.
Is our Max.
Since we're still in the Sprachgefühl, I have one more.
Do it. What do we got?
Here's Christoph Kramer. Oh, hold on.
I love Christoph. Christoph Kramer, famous for getting his head absolutely bashed in the 2014 World Cup final.
And not knowing where he was. Yeah.
By the Argentinian goalkeeper, right? Someone hit just kneed his head 20 minutes in, and he didn't know where he was, what year it was.
He didn't know where he was. He had to come off in the World Cup final, and he was very, very confused. And, he's a refreshingly honest guy. He talks about towards the end of the Gladbach game, Gladbach-Wolfsburg, right? It was?
No, Gladbach
Hoffenheim, yeah.
Where they got the last minute equalizer.
Last minute equalizer, and then there were and then Gladbach, there was perhaps a foul, and the Gladbach players really wanted a penalty kick. And this is what Christoph has to say about that.
Mit dem VAR probiert man natürlich.
Yeah, with the foul at the end. Yeah, of course you got to try.
Zu werfen, weil irgendwer noch
you got to try to do something, and you want to see a foul. I saw a foul, but probably it wasn't one. And in this situation, we want in that moment where you think, shit, we just conceded again.
Scheiße, jetzt kriegen wir hier wieder ein Gegentor. Das ist ja ganz normal.
And that's normal. In every football pitch, anywhere, you can observe this where people then in these kinds of situations try somehow to ein Foulspiel zu schinden. He says he wants einen Elfmeter schinden.
What's schinden?
Yeah, that's very hard to translate. There's really no word for it.
To shun it? To get rid of it?
What it means is he wants to sell it. Basically, he wants to buy a penalty. He wants to sneak one past the referee.
God, it's trying to sell something to the ref. He's trying to sell a false bill,
a false foul, and that's what Schinden means. And Elfmeter Schinden. Also, when you waste time at the end in Germany, that's called Zeitschinden. So similarly, kind of wasting time, or you're buying time. Yeah, it's sort of shithousery. It's sort of
in the shithousery family,
employing the dark arts, and usually you don't hear players be so open about that. This is what he's trying to do. They just conceded another late equalizer. They're in a bad way, and he's hoping to sneak one past the referee. But
well, good work. For. Oh, you mean that's what he tried to do in the game to get a winner, you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I love it. I love that honesty. I love that honesty. Because, Germans don't play that. Germans don't do that. That's a South America thing. That's an Italian thing. Germans don't do that. So for him to do it, at least you got to admit afterwards that you did it. Yep. You got to do that. Because, that ain't a thing they do. But Gladbach's in crisis. They were on the verge of 3 points finally. And he lost it. Great. Let's hear that drop one more time to end this, our first ever segment of
Sprachgefühl. 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 Sprachgefühl.
Boom. That's a beautiful segment.
Stupid.
And for all of you German language learners like me, you get to learn something every week.
Yeah. Elfmeter Schinden. Today, Elfmeter Schinden and Asozial.
Ich wollte Elfmeter schinden, aber die Referee war asozial.
It did not. Yeah, exactly. There will not be a test on the Schnitzel Boys.
I wanted to sell a penalty, but the ref was asocial, if you know what I mean. He is one of those asocial types, those welfare types, if you know what I mean.
It's the Schnitzel Boys, it's the Schnitzel Boys, it's the Schnitzel Boys.